My name is Lily, and I'm 28 years old. I met Connor at work, dated at 24, and got married after 2 years. I quit my job to be a full-time housewife. Leaving the workplace that held memories of being with my husband was a bit lonely, but everyone there was kind and warmly bid me farewell, saying, "Come back anytime." As we worked at the same place, I understand my husband's job. During busy periods, especially with almost daily overtime, it's essential to find ways for my husband to relax when he comes home. I do my best as a wife, giving my husband massages, using aromatherapy, and doing whatever I can. One day something happened. On that particular day, my sister-in-law visited our apartment. It was a Sunday, so my husband was also at home. "Hey Lily, I came to hang out." Her sweet voice came through the intercom as if from nowhere. I reluctantly opened the door and pushed her away, saying, "What? You didn't even let me know you were coming." "You're still the same, Lily, always sharpening your claws. Today I have something important to talk about." She entered the house with a sigh. Hey, if it's just talking, we can do it at the entrance, right?" I said, but my sister didn't pay attention and headed straight to the living room. Ugh, really, what's going on? Reluctantly, I also headed to the living room. As you might guess, I don't particularly like my sister. A real sister? Some might think so, but, well, the reason I dislike her will become clear later. As I headed to the living room, my sister was already sitting on the sofa, absorbed in her smartphone. "Hey, if you have something to say, spit it out." When I said this while standing, my husband, who was present, casually tried to calm the situation.
"Easy there. Since she came all this way, why not make some tea for her?"
"If you think that, then you make it." I thought that in my mind, but I didn't want to reveal my irritation in front of them. Reluctantly, I decided to make the tea myself. I made a pot of tea for 3 in the kitchen and returned to the side living room to find my husband sitting next to my sister for some reason. "Huh? Why are you sitting there? Normally, you'd sit on my side." While thinking about that, I offered tea to my sister. "Thanks, Lily. Sorry for coming out of the blue." "If you feel that way, then quickly tell me the reason. It's my day off after all." I blurted it out, and my sister said something I had never imagined. "I knew about Connor's day off. That's why I came today." "Huh? What does that mean?" As I started to say that, Connor interrupted.
"Lily, divorce me."
My husband opened his mouth without a pause. "Huh? Divorce? What's with you all of a sudden?" At that moment, it felt as if time had stopped. I didn't understand what my loving husband in front of me was saying. What is that word I just heard? What is it? Maybe I misheard? Or perhaps a dream? No matter how hard I try to think, I can't help but see my husband and my own sister in front of me. That is when I finally got my head around the fact that my husband had initiated the divorce. I reacted in the usual way you see in comic books and dramas. What was that just now? Then, without changing his expression, my husband uttered a cruel statement.
"Your sister, May, is pregnant, so I'm thinking of divorcing you. Please, let us part ways."
May? My sister? Pregnant? It wasn't just about wanting a divorce from me. This person, my husband, impregnated my own sister while still being my spouse. Much later, I was hit with a circling sense of disgust, anger, and sadness toward my husband. Why? We talked about how having children can wait. I restrained my voice and questioned. To which my husband looked uncomfortably apologetic.
Sorry, but she means more to me now.
Beside him, my sister grinned, watching my reaction. How long have the two of you been in a relationship? This time, my sister opened her mouth to answer. About 6 months ago? On your birthday, remember? We all celebrated at home. That's when it started, right? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that time.
6 months ago, my parents held a birthday party for me. At that time, my husband and my sister, who was living with my parents, also attended, and we all spent a pleasant time together. Intoxicated, I drank a lot of alcohol and happily got drunk, falling asleep earlier than anyone else. Their relationship began that day, taking advantage of me being passed out. However, initially, my sister made advances, and my husband reportedly refused. After persistent advances from my sister, my husband eventually gave in, and they started meeting regularly. They had cultivated their love over the past 6 months, without me noticing. As a result, my sister, in just half a year of their relationship, became pregnant before me, the wife. In the end, my husband chose my sister over me. What is this? I don't understand. Why? How? Anger, misery, sadness. Various emotions are jumbled up, making my head even more unable to catch up. However, no matter how much I investigate the details, it won't change the relationship between the two. My sister being pregnant and my husband wanting to divorce me are both independent decisions. Ignoring my inner conflict, my sister laughed at me disdainfully. Her hateful attitude is even more annoying. Well, I feel bad for you too, Lily. But I fell in love with him, so I can't help it. Can't help it? What are you talking about? Expressing my emotions, I raised my voice. Come on, it can't be helped, right? I mean, look at us now. The baby is growing well in my belly. Can't you understand that? I have no idea about that. None of this would have happened if you hadn't been so forward. No, anything more I say will only make myself miserable. No matter how much I blame my sister, it doesn't change the fact that my husband chose her. The fact remains that my sister being pregnant with my husband's child and him accepting that reality prioritized the future with her over me. Once I accepted this, strangely, words to retort to my sister disappeared. Observing my reaction, my sister exchanged a satisfied glance with my husband, smiling contently. May, I need to talk to Connor. Can you give me a minute? The tone wasn't harsh, but I spoke in a surprisingly low voice, unlike my usual self. Alone with my husband, he seemed quite uncomfortable. Hey, do you really love May? Facing my question, my husband avoided eye contact and nodded slightly. Hey, can you tell me clearly? Did you consider marrying May because she's pregnant? Or were you serious about being with May instead of me from the beginning? Emphasizing my point, I questioned my husband clearly. In response, he finally opened his heavy mouth.
At first, I thought it would be okay if no one found out. I felt the responsibility to take care of the child after it happened. So, I decided to get married. And I have to divorce you, Lily, too.
I was genuinely disappointed. I thought there would be a firmer and more solid determination behind this decision. To think it was such a pathetic reason. Even for my husband, he really is a worthless man. Rather than sadness or anger, I felt more of a sense of disbelief. I left the scene with just saying, yes. The married life with my husband is ending like this. It's quite underwhelming. In my room, I muttered such a soliloquy. Truly, my marriage life was foolish and miserable. Thinking back, I never liked my sister, because she always took away things precious to me. If it was just clothes or accessories, I could tolerate it. But as we grew up, she even stole my boyfriend. If I tried to confront her, she would fake tears and gather people around her. Even when I finally bought the bag I'd always wanted after working part-time, she used it without permission when I wasn't around and splendidly broke it. When I asked her to compensate, far from reflecting, she ridiculed me. "What are you talking about? I used it for you because you don't deserve it, okay? It doesn't matter if it's broken. That bag doesn't suit you anyway." Getting angry at my sister's audacity, I raised my voice, and she immediately ran to our parents. "Mom, Dad, Lily is blaming me." Watching my sister's grand performance, I sighed in exasperation. "Hey, you used and broke my stuff without permission, right?" "It wasn't on purpose. It was cute, so I just borrowed it a bit." I didn't even question my parents about my sister's melodramatic act. Instead, my father and mother would unilaterally blame me.
"You're her big sister. You should be kinder to your younger sister." "Yeah, even though you're older, you're so disgraceful." While my parents blamed me, my sister smirked from the shadows. They always sided with my sister, ignoring everything I said. In the end, it followed the script of the perfect little sister. It's like she always orchestrates a situation where I, the older sister, appear to be the villain. While being blamed, I watched my sister, who made herself cry coldly. I've always despised her for that. Since becoming an adult, I've tried to keep my distance from my sister as much as possible. That's why I didn't tell my sister until just before I got married. And yet, I never thought that even my own husband would be taken from me. Surely, she doesn't genuinely love my husband. It's just that, much like in the past, when she stole my boyfriend, she can't stand the fact that I'm leading a happy married life. That's the kind of person my sister is. Shortly after calming my emotions, my sister entered the room. "Did you talk with Connor?" My sister grinned as usual. "I'm sorry, but could you not come in here without permission?" "Oh well, that's how it is. Is it okay to call it a divorce? This house and Connor are all mine. Lily, you're in the way and this house is already mine, so pack your things and get out." My sister got even closer to my face. "There's no way you, Lily, can beat me, idiot." The two-faced attitude from earlier disappeared, and now she had a clearly condescending expression on her face. My sister returned to the living room with a victorious look on her face, satisfied after insulting me to death. At that moment, the red devil within me awakened. Enough is enough. I can't take it anymore. That wicked woman, she's not even my sister. I've endured this far too long, but now I've reached my limit. I won't let things go the way my sister wants. I'll mess up her little happiness. I returned to the living room and declared loudly to my husband and sister, "I won't get a divorce." "Huh? What are you talking about, Lily?" "That's right, Lily. What are you saying at this point?"
In front of me, my husband and sister looked dumbfounded. But I don't care about their reactions now. Are you listening? I'll say it again. I won't get a divorce. Did you think I'd agree to a divorce just because you're having a child? Did you really think I would agree to a quick divorce? I could see surprise in my husband's eyes and a hint of panic in my sister's face. Are you idiots? I won't let things go your way. One vulgar word after another came out, even surprising myself. "Oh, what's wrong with you, Lily? Do you understand the situation? I'm pregnant." "Pregnant? So what?" The agitation in my sister's expression was palpable. "That's a bummer. Whether you're pregnant or not, it's none of my business. I won't agree to a divorce, and if you're not satisfied, we can go to court or whatever."
Court? Isn't that too extreme?
My husband, frightened by the word court, contorted his face. I lashed out at my pale sister. "From now on, I'm cutting ties with you. You're no longer a sister to me, but just a cheating partner of my husband. Of course, I'll demand compensation, so be prepared." My sister wore an expression of despair at my declaration of estrangement. It seemed like she had aged decades in an instant. I had never seen such an expression on her face before. It seemed my words had a significant impact. I guess I finally got my revenge for all this. I was strangely filled with contentment. I dragged my slumped sister and opened the door, tossing her personal belongings out the front door. "Come on, hurry up and leave. If you linger any longer, I'll call the police." My sister, looking frustrated, hastily gathered her scattered belongings and left. I then turned to my husband. He hung his head with drooping shoulders. "Just so you know, I'll be seeking compensation from you two." True to my words, I hired a lawyer and completed various procedures. After dragging out the divorce proceedings, I finally divorced my husband when my sister gave birth. My sister and my ex-husband, however, happily celebrated their union, thinking they could finally be together. Isn't the world tougher than that? Taking advantage of this situation, I returned to my previous job. Of course, I shared all the details about my past with the company. At that time, I, who was working hard, was hired immediately, while my husband, who was working for the same company, faced a chorus of criticism. "I heard that he got his wife's sister pregnant even though he has a wife."
What? That's too sleazy, isn't it?
"Isn't his ex-wife the one who recently returned to work? I feel sorry for Lily. I couldn't bear it if I were her." The rumors about my husband spread throughout the office. Of course, I spread the rumors wherever I went. Feeling uncomfortable at work, my husband voluntarily resigned a month later. Afterward, he and my sister lived in a condo, but due to financial issues, they quickly moved to an apartment. My sister reportedly cried to our parents, saying, "I don't want to lower the quality of my life." However, naturally, at the same time, she exposed everything to our parents. Our parents, who used to always support my sister in the past, were understandably furious this time. They officially cut ties with my sister.
"What's the matter with you seducing your sister's husband?" "Exactly. On top of that, being pregnant with your sister's husband's child. How can we face the neighbors?" Even our father and mother were furious about this. It's no surprise that my sister shouldn't expect any support from our parents. I wondered if I went too far. Am I scheming? But compared to what that despicable woman did to me, I think I was quite lenient. I managed to ease the tension with our parents, who had always favored my sister, and successfully collected compensation from both my ex-husband and my sister. I've also returned to my previous job, so I no longer have financial worries. Now it's their turn to experience hell. After having my life ruined by them, I plan to focus on enriching my personal life and prioritize my own happiness moving forward.